This is the new AimLab Edition gaming mousepad, the collaboration between ROG and AimLab. At 45 Singapore dollars, it seems like a pretty interesting deal for what is essentially a XL size mousepad that's a little bit bigger than a XL Artisan mousepad. It doesn't come shipped in a flat packaging, unfortunately, like Artisan, but it is also half the price, so I'm not gonna judge it too harshly. The mousepad has stitching on the sides to prevent fraying. It's got this black and blue color scheme which you might despise or you might really like, and more interestingly, it has these centimeter markings on the bottom of the mousepad so you can quickly measure things if you do not have a ruler on hand. The base of the mousepad is this very nice rubberized finish. It's basically the same as what you find on like say a QCK or MPC 450 Cordura from Endgame Gear, and it's nothing too special. Nothing like Artisan's rubber base, which is this suction cup glossy material that I don't really like. Compared to the Artisan high-end though, how does it track and how does it feel? I think the high-end is a good benchmark, even though the high-end is kind of 2 times the price of the AimLab mousepad. Because the high-end is one of the most popular, well-liked mousepads out there, I think it's a interesting comparison. Let's start off with the glide tests, which are going to be playing on screen for the rest of the video. I essentially just let go of gaming mice off the top of a fixed angled slope and used the camera to see which one will glide faster. I tested it across 10 gaming mice and, well, you can see the results for yourselves. In real world use, I do find that the difference between the AimLab and the high-end to be pretty minimal. On average, the high-end is definitely more slippery of a gaming mousepad, mainly in the static friction front, than the AimLab mousepad. But I couldn't really feel much of a difference on most of the gaming mice out there with standard PTFE feet, from the Pulsefire Haze to the Series 1 Pro to the Ninjutsu Sora. But when it came to certain mice with certain select feet, the difference was definitely very, very noticeable. But I think the biggest difference was when I put glass feet on my Pulsar X2 instead of the core pads that were previously on there. When I put the glass feet on the X2 and tested it with the AimLab mousepad and the Artisan mousepad, I was actually shocked to find the AimLab mousepad super grippy and super slow with the Super Glide glass feet on my Pulsar X2. In fact, it was so slow that it was more slower feeling than these glass feet on the same mouse on my SteelSeries QCK, which is notoriously known as one of the most control-focused mousepads out there. So if you're getting glass feet because you want to have a slippery experience, and these glass feet happen to be from Superglide, the only glass feet I managed to test, you probably want to avoid getting the AimLab mousepad. On the high end though, it's super duper slippery with these Superglide mouse feet, so it's some weird characteristic at play here that I don't really have an explanation for, but just be aware. For everyone else though, the difference between this and the 2 times more expensive Artisan mousepad is pretty minimal. But the thing is, just because it's lower friction doesn't mean it's a better mousepad. The Artisan mousepad has a couple of advantages that are not just about slipperiness than the AimLab as well. For one, the Artisan is thicker. It's also squishier because this is the soft configuration, which means you can really press down on your mouse to stop it if that's required. Another thing is that the Artisan looks absolutely gorgeous in its bright red. But the AimLab mousepad also has the advantage of being a traditional cloth pad. That's something you have to keep in mind. The Artisan mousepads with these very low friction coefficients are very, very rough and coarse, and they do kind of rub and chafe against your skin if you're not wearing some sort of gaming sleeve. And over long gaming sessions, you might find your wrist to be very itchy or inflamed for constantly flicking across this very coarse and rough mousepad. And this is actually the reason why I ended up using the AimLab mousepad more than the Artisan mousepad, even though I personally like the look and the feel of the Artisan mousepad more. Just plain flat out comfort. It was very uncomfortable to be gaming for 3-4 hours at an end on the Artisan mousepad since it was so rough and was causing my skin to itch and flare up. I didn't like that. In conclusion then, should you get the AimLab Edition gaming mousepad? Well, this was a pretty quick rundown with pretty simple tests. I wish I had like robots and stuff to super accurately and super scientifically measure everything, but I can't set up anything until I go to university in the UK, which is in like 40 days. But from my general real world use, I would definitely say that the AimLab mousepad is a very quality mousepad. I've had no tracking issues, and it took a while to flatten out because it didn't get shipped in a flat package, but once that was figured out, it basically just acted as well, or if not even better, than something like a Logitech G640. And I do find that ruler on the bottom to be very handy as a mouse reviewer, since I'm always measuring the length of my hand, measuring the length of gaming mice, and checking if a mouse has acceleration. That ruler is super useful for that last bit. Also, another thing I do like about the AimLab mousepad, apart from the more comfortable cloth finish than the coarse Artisan, is that the rubber base of this mousepad is kind of like your standard rubber base. base. It doesn't move no matter what you do to it. Whereas with the Artisan mousepads, this kind of glossy suction feet, they are very grippy if the entire surface is touching your desk. But the moment you pick up just one corner of it, the whole thing starts sliding around due to unique properties of this rubber base, which is great for quick and easy adjustment of where your mousepad is. But if you want a mousepad that never ever moves around on your desk, I prefer the standard rubber base. Do I regret buying my Artisan mousepad? No, because it looks absolutely sick and is a beautiful accent piece for when I have my uni-dorm gaming setup. Do I think it's too expensive and not worth it for most gamers? The answer is absolutely yes. As for the AimLab mousepad, it's a good choice. If you like the design, if you like the features, it is going to give you a pretty average experience with some unique things thrown in. And it says AimLab, so it reminds you to aim better. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Just a quick, simple rundown. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. And also, I've been streaming a lot on YouTube, Valorant gameplay mostly.